Welcome to the next episode of CGT. How's everybody doing today? Today I have blueberry hibiscus tea. So make sure that you guys take that your tea, and grab your things to get ready for today's episode. One moment. All right, so let's get started, guys. So I wanted to talk about just challenges in today's society. I'm just kidding. But no, challenges on your spiritual journey. I know that that's like a topic a lot of people try to avoid, or, people get to a point where they don't want to talk about the bad parts of being on your spiritual journey. Because it's not all like sunshine and rainbows like everybody thinks. Is it worth it? Yes. But is it the easiest thing? No. Because, of course, there are challenges that come with everything. Um, but there's definitely challenges that come with trying to find yourself, um, trying to just figure out what your what your purpose is, what's your mission. Um, I talk often about how I started Goddess of Clarity, but I will go over it again for those who don't know because it is important to know. So when I first started Goddess of Clarity, I was at a job that I absolutely despised. It was so terrible. And I remember just waking up and I was like, something's gotta change. Like today, I just feel so empty. I feel like this is not what life is supposed to be. Um, Hi, Joycelyn. Welcome. I love you too, Sissy. Um, but I used to just feel like there was nothing out here for me, out here just living life with no purpose. And I really wanted to change that. And, um, you know, I didn't know how though. I wasn't sure as to what my purpose was, how to find that, where I was going to go from there. I just knew I wanted something to change. And that's all I knew. And so that morning I woke up and my friend at the time, we were trying to learn tarot together. I had my cards in my closet for like a year, maybe at least a month. It was a long time, and I had never even opened them. I didn't even open the cards. They were just sitting there waiting to be opened. I used to feel like I needed to know everything before I could do tarot. I felt like if you guys are into zodiacs, I'm a Capricorn, and like we tend to want to know all the ins and outs, and we got to have a plan. We want to know how everything goes. We want to know how things work. We got to have all the knowledge. We like to make sure that our ducks are in a row before we do anything. And so I felt like that's what you do with life in general. But when it comes to spiritual gifts and spiritual callings, it's not like that. You know, your spiritual calling can just smack you in the face and you don't really know, what we're doing or, you just don't know when it's going to come or what your calling is going to be. It may be something completely different from what you thought you would be called to do. So, I really feel that I picked up those cards that day, and that was my calling. I sat there and I played around with my cards, and I gave my friend at the time a reading, and she was just amazed at, how I could read, how it flowed so naturally, like fit the situation. And yes, we were friends, but there was so much stuff that I didn't know about that situation that ended up coming to light later. And just the joy that it brought me. I started that day just very melancholy and depressed and just feeling. And as soon as I picked up those cards, it's like my mood shifted and everything just felt so much better after that. So your spiritual calling can be as simple as just getting started, and just trusting your intuition. I have been watching tarot readings for a long time. I was always interested in palm readings, always interested in gypsies and fortune tellers, and Oda Mae Brown from Ghost. I used to love that movie so much as a kid, and like it just I was always drawn to the craft. The Craft was also one of my favorite movies as a kid. I think I've always just been drawn to witchy things. So with that being said, I posted on Facebook that I wanted to start that I wanted to start, doing readings, and I wanted people to sign up to get free readings. And the overwhelming amount of people that started commenting and saying me too, I didn't know was into tarot. Like, I didn't even know all these people would even be interested in that. Because I know tarot is a little taboo, especially in the Black communities and things like that. It's a little weird. People look at it a little funny. And so I was just not expecting that. And that was also another confirmation of maybe I should do this. And so I did. And I was squeezing readings in between my breaks in the morning, before work, after work, on lunch break, my 15-minute breaks. I was reading, reading. I think I still have the notebook somewhere with of all my appointments that I did when I first opened Goddess of Clarity, and I have done like 30 things in a week. And so I was like, wow. And the response of it was just, hey, I think you should charge for this. You're really good at this. This is crazy. I've never, wow, you sure you never did this before? And so I was like, let's do it. And Goddess of Clarity was born. It took me a while to come up with a name. Um, it came up. It came eventually. So, sometimes we think that the things that's happening in our life are just going to be these big red signs and it's just going to flash and point us in that direction. And sometimes it's very subtle, and sometimes it's, you just got to trust in that. Also, when I first started, I felt like I didn't know enough, which I didn't, but I don't think that you should let that stop you necessarily, because when you're starting your journey, so much stuff comes to you with intuition. Some stuff comes to you just naturally. I was mixing herbs and doing rituals and didn't even know that that's what I was doing. I just had an inkling for it. And sometimes we think that we have to do things in a specific step, and we have to follow all of these rules, and we got to have these recipes, and we got to know exactly how to do it, which some spells are very specific, of course. Some spell work is very specific. Some things you do have to use specifics, but most of the time it's intention based, and it is all based on where your heart is, what you feel called to do. And a lot of times when you walk into a place, a spiritual store, a metaphysical shop, you go to a crystal, it calls to you. You don't choose it, it chooses you. And I feel like it's the same thing with just your spiritual practice, the herbs that you choose to use, what candles you pick. A lot of times your intuition tells you exactly what you need. When I first got into crystals, I didn't know anything about it. I just thought that they were beautiful, pretty rocks. And so I started just going in there, and I didn't know that that's really how you're supposed to do it. That you just go in there and you let them choose you. And I would go in and I would just pick a rock that I felt was mine, and I pick up that crystal, and then I look at the meaning, and it's exactly everything that I was going through at that time, or things that I wanted to work on. Specifically communication. When I first started getting into crystals, I was drawn to all the blue, all the blue rocks, all the blue crystals. I was in there, so those were my first crystals, were communication stones, and from there it just kind of grew. And I think that we just have to learn how to trust our intuition a lot more. We just have to learn how to go with the flow. A lot of times we put too much pressure on ourselves to be perfect and to do things a certain way, and it doesn't have to be like that. Okay, it's not about knowing everything. Okay, it's really about opening up to the experiences more so than anything else. Okay, it's a way to expand your growth, and there's different sources. There's different ways that you can do that. You can go to other people. When I first started, also I saw out a spiritual groups. I just got on Facebook and started typing in what I knew. So black girls, black spiritual groups. I just was in there finding everything, and was led to online covenant. So 11, you guys, I'll say mine real quick. Real quick reminder: say your affirmations, put your manifestations out there at 11:11. Okay. Yeah. So when I first started, I found an online coven. It was a whole bunch of beautiful black women with all of this knowledge, and I don't know where I would have been without that because I learned so much and I made so many connections. A lot of my spiritual sisters and a lot of my people who are still supporting me and watching my lives and doing readings are people I met in that covenant. I started, just asking questions, and sometimes we feel like questions are dumb, that we should know this, but you don't. We're starting from the beginning. It's okay to ask questions, and there are no dumb questions. There's someone in that comment right now, like, what that mean? Or how do I do that? What you talking about? Candles, crystals, you know. Is manifestation the same as prayer? Yes, in some ways. Prayer is just a different word for it, a different style. You can pray. Prayer is more so directed. I feel like directed right to the source. You're asking for something. Sometimes manifestation is just saying that you're already doing it. You already have it. For me, manifestation is a little bit different than prayer. Like when I used to pray, I used to ask for things. I used to ask for, stuff. When I manifest, I kind of just claim it as mine. Like it's all done. I'm already, sorry, my necklace got um, and I thought I was putting it out. But, I usually just say it as if it's already done. So I think that that's the only difference for me between manifestation and prayer. But the intention is still the same. I think that is really and truly. Um, yeah. So I do think that when you set your manifestations, you just say it as if it's already done. But when I got into that, Kevin, I asked a whole bunch of questions like that. You're welcome. I asked a whole bunch of questions like, hey, how can I manifest? What do I do? And how do I get money? And what's the affirmation? I asked all kinds of ridiculous questions that seemed ridiculous to me because some of these women have been practicing for so long. Okay. Oh, it's so cool to watch myself on TV. Oh, I love that you get to watch me on the big TV. And it took a lot of questions, a lot of finding myself. I started really, I asked a lot of questions, like I said. And then I started setting up my ancestor altar. And that was the next thing that I did. I set up my ancestor altar to start connecting with my ancestors because, a lot of times there's a lot of family history you don't know. For me, I didn't know a lot of my ancestors or knew a lot about my past. I knew a little bit, but there was still so much I didn't know. And then, losing my biological dad later on in life, and not knowing that whole side of my family, like a lot of things I didn't know. I didn't know any of my family on my dad's side, so it was kind of difficult to know who to ask for help or what ancestors to start praying to. And I felt like a little bit empty behind that, oh, I don't know. How can I put pictures of ancestors I don't know? What is this? And I just would overthink it. We overthink it. I know we all overthink it. I overthink it so much. And then, you know, you just have to simplify it. Sometimes we make it a lot more complicated than it has to be. So then I just started writing the names down. I didn't have pictures of my ancestors, but I just used to write the names down on pieces of paper of the ones I did know. And then I would just say, for those who are named and unnamed, because at the end of the day, like, we might not know you or know your name, but I still want you to show up and give me some advice because you probably was back here a long ago. I'm gonna need you back here. I need you to come show up, okay? Come be present. So, um, setting up an ancestor altar is very important for starting your spiritual journey, in my opinion. So to set up an ancestor altar, next part of our show. So to set up an ancestor altar, first you find a space that you want to dedicate to your ancestors. I use this question a lot for people who are traveling or nomadic or people who didn't have spaces of their own or who were in families who didn't accept their practices and they had to feel like they had to hide it or keep it low key. And he said, how can I start manifesting like what he recommended? First, I really want to start calling all the good things into my life. Yes, man, I got you. So a lot of people would ask me about setting up altars if they have like a place to do so, or if their place was too small. And honestly, get up an ancestor box. You can just have an ancestor altar in a shoebox. It's really all about intention. If you have something that you're dedicating to this thing, that's all that matters. So the thing is, you can have a shoebox and you can put a little tea light in there. You can put a small succulent in there, and get you a little shot of water. Hey, Josie, thank you, baby. And you can go from there, and that's really all you need. So the element. So again, dedicating the space. So I like to use a table because I like to put a lot of offerings out for my ancestors. So generally, I dedicate a space to them in my home. But if you don't have a place, again, you can use whatever. You can use a little box and make it sacred, cleanse it, and use it for your ancestor altar as well. You need the four elements: air, water, earth, fire. Luckily, candles handle two of those, and fire. So candles use oxygen to ignite a flame. So that's how you can represent air. And fire with a candle. Water. So water is good for you need water anytime you're doing spiritual work because that's how spirit moves water minds. And you're going to use the ancestors up in there, you want them to be present, you want them to show up. And so you're going to can you work with your ancestors the same way that you work with deities, for example? Can I work specifically with my mom and her energy if I wanted to? Yes, yeah, you sure can. Your ancestors talk to one every day if you wanted to. You know, you know, eventually you'll start to get closer to your ancestors and you'll start to see them show up more. You'll see them, you'll see your little spirit team, the ones who work with you the most, basically, and you'll start to get that together. You'll start to. Um, so basically, you have those elements. So I use a plant, you know, or a flower. I give them flowers or something to represent that. And then I put pictures of them. I say a prayer, um, and I just put that out there. You put your water, and if you give offerings, I give offerings of alcohol to my ancestors, or you know, you know, tea, coffee. Your ancestor, your great grandma used to always have black coffee and watch the news and read the newspaper. Put a newspaper out there with some black coffee. Turn the news on while you working with your ancestors. It's like you're visiting them. You want to work with them like that. You want to acknowledge them in that way. And so for me, know, my grandfather used to have his coffee, but he also would have his avocado. He was Hispanic, so he would have his and his eggs in the morning. So when I make that and I make avocado, know, when I make empanadas, I put it out for him. So either way, you just acknowledge them. You just give them in space and like them to be part of your family and your heart. It's just a welcome thing. Ancestor also are just letting them know they feel my space here and that they're still welcome here in your so to answer the questions in the chat, how can you start manifesting? You just say it. You can also write it down. I feel like writing down your manifestations are very important. Putting it on paper solidifies it, but believe in it first. Also, I think manifestations start, you know, believe it's manifest. You have to know that, that what you're putting out in the universe is yours already. You're just reclaiming that. That's how I like to manifest. I reclaim it. Yes, I am saying this. I am I am I Hello guys, sorry. We had some technical difficulties. Now I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see that chat, honey. That's a little low. I'm gonna fix that. But okay guys, I forgot where we left off at. Anybody remember? Oh, manifesting. Okay, so yeah, manifesting, that's it. I light candles, I write, I journal. When I first started with manifesting, I used to do the 3-6-9 method a lot, and I would write things 3 times on a piece of paper, and then 6 times, and then 9 times, and then I would fold it towards me, and I would keep it in a safe place, so I would light it under a candle. I also would just write it, journaling, and just getting it to a place where, it's just on paper and I'm saying it every day. I also believe in visualization. Visualization was a challenge for me at first, imagination wise, because I had disconnected so much from my inner child, I think, and disconnected so much from my imagination and learning how to be so serious and, things like that, that it stopped me from being able to fully visualize things. I even still have trouble with this sometimes, but using imagery, using vision boards is a good way for you to see your manifestations in front of you. Riding through neighborhoods and looking at houses that you want to look at, going to, car lots and looking at cars you want to look at, looking at all the details, so that way you can be specific in your manifestations as well, no, not just saying I need a new car, but also saying, hey, I want a 1998, or whatever the case may be. I want a 2023 Tesla, and in this color with these features, and being specific also helps. It helps you to feel it and see it and to touch it and to really get to a place where you can manifest it easily. Another person that I like to watch is Sammy Ingram. Sammy Ingram, Neville Garter videos, and again, like Abraham Hicks. Those are good people to watch because they help you with changing your reality and learning how to reprogram our programming of, not doing that. So
YouTube is a great source, and frequency music. And you're so beautiful. I love watching you do your thing. Five Below is a great place for affordable books. And yay, we got action.
We got action.
There you go. All right.
Okay, thank you. So yes, Five Below, all of that. Those are great resources. You can also get a lot of ritual candles at Dollar Tree. They have the pillar candles. There's a lot of ways for you to get around doing rituals on a budget, okay? So, yeah. Another challenge I wanted to talk about, guys, is the aspect of losing people during your journey. Because, it's real and it does hurt, and it's not an easy thing to deal with. When you're on your spiritual journey, you tend to outgrow people. You tend to have situations where you just don't fit anymore, or these people were meant to be part of your journey up until this point, and there's no love lost, but you just have to move forward, and you no longer connect the way that you used to, and that's okay. But it's not to say that it doesn't hurt. I've lost a lot of people on my spiritual journey, just friends, people that I never thought would be out of my life, but eventually it happens. And so preparing you guys for that as well, and knowing that it is part of the journey, having failed relationships, having failed friendships, or just separating in general. You guys don't have no bad blood or anything like that, but you just have separated and moved forward. Part of the journey is growth. And if you were a plant and you were outgrowing your pot, you wouldn't just keep your plant in that pot, letting the roots not spread out and just suffocating your plant, basically. So when you get a new pot, when you're outgrowing, your roots got to be spread out. You got to get a new pot, and you got to have room to move around. And growth requires change. It requires you to get out of that situation. It requires you to disconnect. And sometimes part of the journey is lonely. Part of the journey is disconnecting, and it's finding time with yourself. And that was hard for me as someone who has attachment issues and abandonment issues. It was hard for me to lose people. It was even harder for me to learn how to find solace in myself and enjoying my own company, because, when you are a person who grew up not feeling as adequate as other people, or you felt like you weren't heard, or you didn't feel like you fit in sometimes, or things like that, you find people in order to kind of make yourself feel better, or make yourself feel like you have somebody who understands you. So then when you start losing people who you thought understood you, and now you're here and you're in this space and you're by yourself, and you got to just learn how to love you, it is difficult. It is not the easiest task, sitting with yourself, crying, wishing that you had friends again, or wishing you had a partner. I just went through a lot of lonely times when I went to San Antonio. I think that my spiritual journey led me to Texas. And I think it led me to Texas, and it led me to a place that was not my typical vibe. It was definitely not Atlanta, with the diversity and a lot of Black people and my type of energy. It was completely different. I was so isolated there, and I feel like it's because I didn't really know people, but I feel like I was pushed there to grow spiritually.
I had to go through that part of being by myself. I had to go through that lonely period. I had to be in hermit mode in order to get the things that I have now, or to expand my business, to believe in myself, to, those type of things, because San Antonio was the first place that I really got paid in person for my readings. It was my first time like interacting with people in person and doing readings. It was, my first time working in a spiritual store with other spiritual readers, doing festivals. It's where my business started to really expand into other areas, but it wouldn't have done that had I not challenged myself to be somewhere that I knew no one, and stayed there, and made it work for a little bit. And it was uncomfortable a lot of times, but it did help me to grow quite a bit. Tea break, guys. Do y'all have y'all tea? What kind of tea y'all drinking today? I know Joyce will probably love that cup. She loves cows. But yes, I know. And I don't know. I think that sometimes part of our journey is being in solitude. Because it's through introspection that you learn so much about yourself. It's through introspection that you learn how to deal with your emotions. It's through introspection where you learn how to listen to your intuition, because we have a higher voice, but we also have our ego side too, that tells us things that are negative. Our ego tells us what we can't do. It makes us feel less than. And you have to know the difference between those two voices that you have inside of you. And if you can't tell the difference and decipher between those two voices, you might get confused sometimes when your ego is telling you something and your higher self is telling you something better, and your higher self is like, hey, we're trying to get over here, and your ego is trying to pull you in this direction. It's a good way to learn how to decipher between the two. Honestly, it took me a while to trust my intuition, because in the Black community, I can't speak for other communities, but growing up in a Black community, I think that we have a tendency to discredit how we feel. We're told that what we believe isn't true. We're also taught a lot of things, such as like, listen and don't talk back, and certain little things that happen, it conditions you to not trust your intuition, basically. And it teaches you to question yourself sometimes, especially if you tell someone something and they're telling you that you didn't say that, you didn't do that, that's not right. And a lot of times children are the closest things to the veil, to the spiritual world as we can get. And as adults, we're telling children things that aren't true, and they're telling us things that are true. And we're not listening to kids, and we're not listening to them express themselves, or, we're telling them that their imagination isn't right. If a kid is painting the sky purple and the grass blue, who cares? Why do you need to tell that kid that the sky is blue and the grass is green? Maybe in another realm, that's how it looks. I think that is just a way of just letting kids express themselves and being able to trust their intuition, and letting them have that freedom to do that is where we disconnect from ourselves and our intuition. It's in our childhood a lot of times that we are broken and we're disconnected from what is to be true. And so we get further and further away from the truth the older that we get, because we start having these experiences, we start having hurt, we start having trauma, we start having these things that just continuously disconnect us from what we were before we came into the physical. I do think that it's where our intuition gets broken the most, and it's where we tend to get stuck there also. There's this theory that whatever age that you were had the most traumatic experiences is kind of where you get stuck at emotionally and mentally as well. And it's also a reason why sometimes people look younger than what they are, because they're stuck in that trauma of that age and that age group, and we tend to look younger, right? So I do think that it's just time for us to connect more to our intuition, and doing that requires solitude. It requires breaking away from things that are our norm. It requires us to, take time to listen to that inner voice, take time to breathe, take time in the midst of chaos to find that inner voice and to find yourselves. um, yes. So with that being said, it can hurt, but you can also find communities. If you start, getting away from friends, or you start going through that hermit mode, because it's bound to happen on your spiritual journey, but there's also communities, there's also ways for you to find people who are like-minded and start to connect with people who are going to pour into you as well. Um, we have to surround ourselves with people who think like us and who are going to challenge us, because we are the average of the people we keep around us the most. So if you have this person who's negative, this person who's telling you that you can't do something, this person has bad financial goals, this person is this, and you are the average of all those things, you're going to have a hard time navigating through life. You have to have friends who are going to elevate you mentally. You got to surround your circle with people who are going to pour into you as well, who's going to be emotionally available for you as well, for you to be able to grow and for you to expand as well. So know that the connections that you are losing aren't really losses a lot of times. We needed that at that time, and now it's time to go. Okay. Let's see. I want to get into also, so we talked about discovering your right resources and getting your knowledge together. Okay. And now it's finding your niche and finding like what works for you. A lot of times people are like, how'd you get into that? Or how do I know if I should practice voodoo rather than hoodoo? Or should I do Ifa? Should I do Buddhism? How do you know what's your niche? Or how do you know how do you do that? That was a challenge that I had too. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be doing Santeria? Am I supposed to be over here doing Ifa? Am I supposed to be doing a combination of all of them? Am I eclectic? Am I earth witch? Am I this witch? It's a lot of different variations. And so a lot of times we're like, how do we find our niche? How do we do that? But I think that it is partly a calling. And I think it's also doing your research, really finding out what is in all of those things. If you feel called to a certain thing, when I first started, I was feeling more called to Ifa, and I started studying Orishas, and I started studying this, and I'm still studying different types of things because I want to know what does fit me. I want to learn more about this. I want to learn more about this. But overall, I incorporate a little bit of everything because that's what I feel like. I'm eclectic, and I feel like spirituality is also, a mix of a whole bunch of things. So I just go with whatever feels good to my heart. But there are some people who specifically only practice hoodoo, and they, read scriptures, and they do rituals that are tailored to hoodoo. There's also people who, practice Buddhism. I actually grew up Buddhist because my grandmother was Buddhist, is Buddhist, she's Buddhist. And so I grew up knowing a little bit more about Buddhism than Christianity when I was younger. I didn't learn more about Christianity other than like friends, going to church with like my god sister, or going to church with other, people in my family, or on my dad's side of the family. We just different things. But my grandmother who raised me was Buddhist. And so I learned how to chant. I learned how to Nam Myoho Renge Kyo when I was a kid. So, for me, it feels good. Buddhism also is something that I kind of incorporate their way of thinking and their way of life. It's just certain aspects of what feels good to you. Your niche could be any of those, or it could be that you are just a herbalist. Maybe you are a healer. You could be a shaman, and then you really don't know until you start practicing and you try and you figure out, like, hey, what feels good to your soul when you're doing it? What feels called to you? And I think that we just, again, it just all comes down to trusting your intuition and trusting what feels good to you inside, because a lot of times, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just you having to feel it, you getting in there and you just trying it and seeing what's best for you. And I think that's how you find your place, and that's how you find what is for you. But there are lots of resources. Again, YouTube, university, okay? YouTube will teach you so many things, okay? And of course, there's false information out there, so please use your intuition. Not everyone has good intentions when they're spreading knowledge, so just, trust that as well. Combine it with things that you're learning from other people, mentors, and things like that. So, yes. And the last thing I wanted to talk about today that has been a challenge for me as a spiritual advisor is dating. Dating is a hard thing. I don't know why. I know it's hard for everybody, but I don't know why it just feels like it's so difficult when you when you are spiritual. I get all the time that people just don't want me to what's that?
No, keep going.
Okay. I think that people just don't want me to read them. They feel like vulnerable around me as far as me just like knowing emotion and picking up what's wrong with you, what's going on. And I can feel it from a mile away. So to me, I think like me calling out people on things that I'm feeling intimidates them. Also, I'm gonna need y'all to stop. Please stop doing this to spiritual people, guys, okay? If you're dating a spiritual woman, we don't like you to do this, okay? So please stop. Don't do this. Stop asking us if we doing love spells on you, okay? Because I guarantee you ain't even worth us doing all that and buying all them supplies for, okay? I'm just going ahead and put that out there. Most of the spiritual women, we ain't got time. We ain't got time to be doing all that, okay? We manifesting money over here, okay? So I don't know about y'all, but I'm not about to be doing no love spell for nobody, okay? So that's just me personally, but I just know all of the spiritual women I know are like, will they please stop asking me that? Because what they thinking? We just sitting up here conjuring up, what was that song B. Simone do? They like, I want a pit bull with a Doberman in the backyard. He gotta have an 8 credit scanning score. He gotta be like rich, and you just sitting here manifesting that. And I'm just like, no, I think that, if you are to date a spiritual person, like, please just be open-minded, because it is frustrating, when we're just out here living our best life and you guys coming in here talking about we doing love spells and scared, or telling your friends that we doing some kind of voodoo on you because you falling for us. We ain't got time for that, okay?
You put the voodoo on me. I don't care what you say. How about that?
Whatever. I just feel like, it's not cute. We don't like it, okay? But I think that dating is difficult because for me, I think that it's a balance of still having time for you and making sure that you're still doing your spiritual work, and that you have someone who's going to encourage you and stay on that with you and tell you, when you are slipping from that, or when you are not on your practices, instead of, doing all of that. It's ignore the puppies in the background. They get excited. But yeah, I think that dating, it can be a beautiful thing, but it also can be challenging. I also have to, tell people when I need like spiritual rest, and I need to disconnect. And sometimes people don't get that. People don't get when you just need time to unplug, or when you're spiritually overwhelmed,
spiritually overwhelmed as in like people have been pouring and dumping on you, and now you're taking on all these emotions, and you're like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm angry today. I'm empathic, okay? And so, learning how to leave those problems at home too, learning how to cleanse. If you go out into the world and you're picking up that energy, when you come home, try to cleanse before you walk in the door, do something to cleanse your energy. It helps as well. And also just communication, guys. Communication is a big thing in any relationship, but when you are, teaching someone how to understand you as a spiritual person and what you need spiritually, you have to know that what this person needs spiritually and what you need spiritually may be different. So expressing that and saying, hey, when I feel overwhelmed, I need to go take a spiritual bath. I need to drink some tea outside. I need to go grounding. I need to go hug some trees if I'm upset. So that way that person can know, okay, well, when I'm upset, I like this, and that, and then you guys can help each other stay spiritually full and not depleted, and learning how to just pour into one another. I've had challenges with dating also because I felt like a lot of the people that I was attracting was not vibrationally on the same level, and so a lot of times it was like they were attracted to this light in me and all of these things that, was good and up high vibrational here. And then it's like they leech onto that and then they take that and try to dim that light and they try to make you smaller so that way you can come down on their level instead, which is why it's important for you to date someone who is vibrationally on the same level as you, because what's going to happen is usually that person who's high vibrational is not going to get that person who's low vibrational to come up there. So most of the time that person who's low vibrational is just going to bring that person down to their level instead, because it's going to take a lot for a person who's here to get someone to take these initiatives to step up here to this level instead. It can happen if that person is willing to do that, but most of the time they're not.
Mama Show say communication is key. I totally agree. Some people glow be off.
You said what happened?
Mama Show said communication is key. I totally agree. Some people glow be off.
Yeah, some people glow be off, Mama Show, okay? That's facts. All right, guys. So what I wanted to do to end the live is to do some readings. So since we ended talking about love, I wanted to do some love readings for y'all. Okay, so I'm going to do it based on air, fire, earth signs. Okay, make it simple. All right, so let's get it, guys. Let's see where we're going to start here. All right, so let's start with my air signs. All right, so this will be Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. Aquarius, Geminis, and Libra, what do you have for love? Trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith, my air signs. Trust in the process, okay? They say, yes, this is your soulmate, okay? So trust that this person that's coming in is true love and your soulmate. Aquarius, this is the romance of a lifetime. I do feel like financial factors may be an issue in love right now for my air signs, but that's about to change, okay? Those things are changing, and those financial issues aren't big issues. They're not, there's something that's going to change because you guys are going to be in a place where you're going to work on those finances and careers with your partners. This is just a time in between time. Okay. For some of you, you haven't met this person yet. For some of you, some of my air signs will be meeting this person before the holidays. Okay. Anything else for my air signs? Okay, yeah, in a few weeks before the holidays. So probably right before Thanksgiving, some of you air signs are going to meet someone who is going to just knock you off your feet, okay? And I do feel like this person, in a few weeks your finances will also change. So this is why there's a few things here. All right, for my air signs, some of you may have a secret admirer, but someone has deeper feelings for you than they're letting on. So someone may be holding off on saying I love you, and you know you feeling that, and you know you want that. You know you need to go ahead and say that. Stop being a secret admirer. Y'all better get y'all air sign, okay? The trust, again, we have trust. So trust is a big thing for you air signs to work on. Make sure that you aren't letting trust issues come into your love life, okay? Make sure that you accept things for how they are and know that they will transform the way that they need to, okay? Some of you are in long distance relationships, okay? And your partner is saying that doesn't mean shit. Love is going to transcend that distance, okay? They coming over that. They don't care about that, okay? And the sexual union between the two of you, whoo, child, there's some sex magic going on there. There's a lot of passion, and this sexual connection is on point, okay? So for those of you who are single, keep an open mind about who you are dating. Who you are going to date. They may be different from what you're used to, and keep an open mind about that. And know that it's going to be a passionate, magnetic connection from the beginning. So you will definitely know that that is your person, because it's going to be a magnetic connection. Okay. All right, air signs. All right, so let's get into my water signs. All right, this will be my Pisces, Scorpios, and what's my other one? Pisces, Cancer. I was like, I'm missing one. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpios. Okay, what's going on for love for my Pisces, Cancer, Scorpios? Ooh. All right. Some passion is coming in, honey. I do see that. We're gonna get more cards here. Someone may be reconciling with somebody from their past. Ooh. Okay. Overall, for my water signs, it's important for you to know that it is safe for you to love. You just have to open your heart and be open to receiving the greatest gift of all. The highest energy is love. Love is the universal language. It's how the universe communicates with you. So love is, everyone's deserving of love, okay? Water signs, know that you are deserving of love. Again, some of you may be having a reconciliation with someone from your past. It may be a very passionate person. I don't know. Y'all might have to have a heart-to-heart if you're going to take this person back. But overall, stay optimistic about your love life, okay? Stay optimistic, love, my water signs, okay? Ooh, some of my water signs getting engaged. All right. I do feel like overall, my water signs are having transformation in their love lives, okay? The past is behind you. Stop living in the past. Release it, okay? There's new possibilities and there's new changes coming in for those water signs. If you are in a relationship right now, or you're married, just know that your relationship is going to deepen, okay? So even if you're married, your relationship just going to get more romantic. It's going to get deeper. You guys are going to reconcile if you've been having some issues in your relationships, or you guys have been kind of catty or at each other's throat lately, in your marriage. Just know that it's going to start calming down. Know that, this is coming from a place of just needing to have some conversations probably. But I do feel like the person that's coming in for my water signs, the reason why it may be taking a while is because this person is going to be it. When it does come in, they're going to come in with engagement off the bat. They're going to come in showing you their love off the bat. There's not going to be no hesitation. There's not going to be no, beating around the bush. So if you're single right now, my water signs, know that it's coming, okay? But you have to know that it's safe for you to love, and you have to stay optimistic, because what's coming is going to be your person. It's going to be that engagement, that thing that you're looking for. This person's going to say their love for you is as deep as the ocean. And that's how you're going to know that that's your person. They're going to say, my love for you is as deep as the ocean. I can't even, it's just so deep, girl. I can't, okay? The past is now behind you, so release it. There's a new path on the way.
All right, Spirit. So when this new person coming in for my water sign, Fanny? All right. They said when you guys stop ruminating over the past, it's limiting your movement. So that's why they can't give me an exact time right now. Okay. You guys have to know that you have to take a pause. You gotta just know that it's coming. Okay. So they won't let me. Also, they ain't gonna tell me if y'all got surprise proposals. Okay. Don't ask me. When they finna propose, I can't tell you. They ain't gonna tell me. Okay. They want you to be surprised. All right, so there's that for that. Let's get into our earth signs. All right, earth signs, what's your love message? What's the love message for my Capricorns, my Virgos, my Taurus? Okay, we are staying optimistic about our love lives too. We're positive thinking. Okay, I know Capricorns, we be having a hard time and love, okay? So we gotta make sure we stay optimistic and positive. Ooh, I see wedding bells. The wedding card came out. So, okay, my earth signs, y'all about to get married. Okay? This has a lot of passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. You guys have been glowing. Y'all happy. Okay, earth signs, I see you. Y'all be flirty. Mm-hmm. Y'all are flirting and y'all are having a lot of passion going in right now. Okay. Anything else? Spirit. Okay, a lot of heart-to-heart conversations. So the person that you are about to marry, make sure that you guys are getting to know each other. Discuss your feelings. Make sure that you guys are discussing your feelings. Still keep that passion. Still flirt. Okay. Still have romance, guys. Don't let the relationship get dry. Give your relationships a chance. If you're currently in a relationship and you're having some problems, my earth signs, work on it. I think this person is your person. Work on those issues, okay? Don't let your pride get in the way. I know y'all earth signs are stubborn, honey. Don't let your pride get in the way when it comes to it. Okay? You guys are having a transformation in love. I love this for my earth signs. You guys, everything's just about to transform in your love life, okay? For those of you, again, who's in a relationship already, your relationship's going to get better. But for those of you who are single or who've been awaiting love or just like in between, know that love conquers all. Your relationship is your love life is deepening, especially if you haven't had a good luck with love in the past. This is about to change. Okay, with friendship, I think that you guys need to make sure that you're friends first. Okay, I think our signs, we are very calm and grounded. And so sometimes you just have to remember to have fun, remember to still have adventures, to nurture the friendship, relationship. Don't get so lost in the love that you don't remember to have a friend first. Okay, this is a sacred union. Okay. Some of you, again, are long distance from your partner, but that's going to change, okay? But this is definitely a sacred union, so treat it as such, okay? So with the wedding, guys, you are experiencing a little hesitation. Some of my earth signs may be like, for real? Yes, it's for real, guys. Be clear with what you want, and you can be married within 10 months, guys. Okay? And also know to stay consistently in your happiness and in your alignment, okay? You got to make sure you stay aligned, stay on path. Don't get out here and get lost in the sauce, earth signs, okay? All right, guys. So that is what I have for you. Thank you for tuning in for the second episode of Sage and Tea with your favorite spiritual advisor, the Goddess of Clarity. I love you guys. I will see you next Saturday.
Wait, what about the fire signs?
What? Oh, the fire signs. I thought I did, everybody.
No,
Air,
just skip out the fire signs.
Water, I did. I'm sorry, y'all. We didn't even know. Y'all don't
right,
know.
Mama Show was waiting on a fire sign.
Oh, Mama Show, I'm sorry. The fire signs. I thought I did, everybody. My bad, y'all. Fire. See, the first time when I said it, I forgot water. And then when I did it, I guess I forgot fire. All right, Spirit. What's the love reading for my fire signs, my Aries, Sagittarius, and Leos? All right. It says balance. You guys need to have balance in your relationships. Some of my fire signs, they tend to just challenge everything, okay? Or they either agree, just go with everything, just go with the flow. When they get in love, they just agree, yes, 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 yes. Or they either give you a hard time, no in between, okay? Y'all have to find a balance, okay? A great relationship both challenges their partner and supports their partner. So there has to be a balance between the two. Can't just always be challenging your partner to be great, but not supporting them. And you can't just support them and not challenge them to be great, okay? I do think that there is love coming your way for my fire signs. Know that you deserve it, okay? So when it comes, don't be all like, oh, I don't know if I deserve this. No, you got to know that it's yours and that it is coming in, okay? This love that's coming in is going to be very passionate. It's going to be a magnetic connection, okay, from the get-go. For some of you, this may be a friend that turns into more. I think that this may started off as a friendship, and then this friend is gonna be like, so about that. I think I like you more than that, okay? And then your relationship is just going to deepen and really be something very special if you turn this friendship into a relationship. Okay? Yeah, y'all got your soulmate coming in. If you're currently dating, know that this person is your soulmate. Okay. Excuse me. If you're single, your soulmate may be someone from your past that you are going to reconcile with. That's only for a certain amount of people. I don't think that's like a big thing. Most of these are new people that's coming in. You guys stay optimistic about your love life, okay? But pay attention to any red flags. Anything that's cautioning you, trust your intuition, okay? I see that for my fire signs. Some of you may be going on a little trip, a little retreat, okay? Getting away, okay? When you go on this trip,
Jason said, I need some love.
I need some love.
He said, dang, 10 months? I need some love.
Nah, I need 10 months. That was 10 months for you to get married now.
Well, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
He's air sign. I mean, Gemini.
Oh, he's a Gemini. He's an air sign. Okay. It's time to disconnect from the world. So some of you may need a little bit of a retreat, need to go in and disconnect from the world. So some of you may be going on a little bit of a trip. When will this retreat be happening? When will they be going on this retreat? Oh, hold on. All right. So I see in about 6 months, you guys will be taking a little bit of a vacation. This may be where you find this person that you're looking for, okay? I think within 6 months, this person will come and reveal themselves. And within that time frame, you'll be going on a little vacation, or you may be going on vacation yourself within 6 months and then finding this person on that trip, okay? All right, guys. I think I got everybody this time. I think that was everybody. I love you guys. I will see you later. Happy Saturday. Bye.